everyone kind of could relate to it. So that was a good thing. Now, I really want you to bring in mind, understand, this whole process, the awareness to truth process, you are basically taking the water bottle, right? And you are pouring it. Because the more you get aware, the more you can see your truth, right? You become more sensitive. You gotta have a steady hand, right? And the reason why is because once the truth fills you, here's a little kicker. Truth is inspired knowledge. Remember we said truth is esoteric, right? Truth is inner, right? You ever notice when you get a truth, you're like, ooh, I got it. Right? Even if you read it, you're like, that's it. Because truth heightens you. Right? It makes you what? More aware. It makes you more keen. Why? Because what does truth do? Because what's the elements of truth? It brings you to what? The motive and intention, the morale, the cause and effect, right? And it takes you to the how. Right? And so, as you become aware, right? As you go through the principle of exchange, what you're doing is, as you look at your current state and look at your projected state, as you identify your current awareness, you open yourself up. You have an empty bottle. Now you can be filled with what? Truth, right? So, now, Fatima had this scenario dealing with the job, right? And the untruth that we grabbed out of it was, we bought into the lie on a certain path to take, right? It was like, bought into the lie of,
you had to go, in order to reach your purpose, you had to go through the formal education and the formal training and the formal, way of your approach to success. It was met by doing what society says is necessary to reach success, pretty much. That's how, it was.
So formal education to reach success. Does everybody agree with that or not?
That's an untruth.
That's an untruth. I mean, we broke that, man. We chiseled that bad boy last week. I mean, if you believe that was the truth, I know I walked out thinking, I was like, no, that's not true. Right? Okay? So, if you look at that and you kind of browse, and we remember last week what we did with, Fatima, and it was so interesting that as she started going through remember the questioning, she just started answering everything. She was just like, oh, and we flew right through the whole process. But we asked, what was happening, right? Right? And she told you what was happening. She was like, well, I have my job, I have responsibilities, I have a son, so I got to take care of that. Because the road that I was on, because I entertained this untruth. I went to school. She didn't disrespect school. She was just saying, but her gifts and talents, and her heart, she's an entrepreneur, she's a singer, and she's creative. She took a whole different path that caused her to push it to the side, right?
That's true.
And I remember the key word she used was, I had to change my methods, right? So what she did is she changed her practice. So somewhere in the principle exchange, it worked against her. Well, someone else might think it wasn't bad, but for her, because with her truth that she has and what her self-perception is and what she needs to be done to fulfill in terms of her purpose, it went against her interest. Right? So she began to talk about what was actually happening. What was actually happening was, she at work, she said I was stressed. She said it was like giving her highs. So I have to pay attention to that. So it broke down to what was actually happening was